Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the All Star Wrestling Review Series for September 13th, 1980. And we are quickly approaching the end of the 1980 run. We do have all of, or almost all of 1981 to check out. So that could be cool and exciting in some ways. Anyway, would love to have you subscribe, like, comment below. Got over 1,800 wrestling audios available for you in a variety of topics, primarily old school before 1998 or so. That's my preference. But we do also cover the present day topics: AEW, WWE, NWA, and other points in between. We tried an independent series. I just don't have time for it in my schedule. I run multiple businesses and do YouTube on the side, so just not enough time in the day. Anyway, we run forward here into the um, 13th of um, 13th of September here in 1980, hosted by Vince McMahon. Pedro Morales defeating the Black Demon via submission with the Boston Crab 6:35. After the bout, ring announcer Gary Michael Cabana introduces the world champion Bob Backlund to the crowd. He shakes hands with Morales, and then he's briefly interviewed by Vince McMahon at ringside. Morales um, and Backlund, two of the obviously early pre Hulk Hogan expansion era champions, and so pretty big deal here. Black Demon is a guy that they have used before. They use him more in the late 1980 through 83 run. I think he's also part of the Sergeant Slaughter Cobra Clutch deal. Um, the escape from the hold. Anyway, several times the demon steps to the outside. Of course, a masked individual steps to the outside, breaking the hammerlock of Pedro Morales. Morales, not intimidated by this, gets an armbar on, cinches up on the man, and tries to get as much of a advantage as he can. Reverse chinlock by Morales. Morales not willing to take a backward step as far as that goes either. Morales trying to do everything he possibly can to get uh, to a into a simple form. Hard shots by uh, Morales, who then hits a body slam and eventually gets um, the Boston Crab. Bob Backlund comes in, basically says he wants to challenge just about everyone. Everyone wants to be wrestling the champion. He's wearing a blue suit with a patterned shirt and looks like a complete goof, to be completely honest. Backlund also at the time not exactly great on promos by any stretch of the imagination. More an in-ring wrestler and a tactician than anything else, but basically has an interview with Vince McMahon where he says he's willing to fight anybody. And of course, the Sergeant Slaughter run eventually comes in here, coming into play and doing everything he can is Backlund to try to get as much of a, I guess you'd say, a good run as he can. Doesn't exactly get everything he wants out of things, but manages to do whatever he can to kind of get the thing going in a positive direction. Anyway, Sergeant Slaughter, speaking of which, is up next in a um, enhancement match with his opponent. And again, Slaughter with the big kind of Gomer Pyle top hat, military hat, whatever you want to call it. Um, and again, I mean, it's very clear actually that Sergeant Slaughter is a guy who you don't necessarily uh, want to look at as a guy that you can take for granted, for lack of a better term. Although Slaughter, with the Grand Wizard defeating Steve King, 6:27 after the bout, McMahon interviews Slaughter and the Wizard at ringside. Steve King obviously has been an enhancement talent for a good bit here. Also does more featured programs at places like Jack Witchy's in Massachusetts, and let's say I don't even know if they were doing B-level spot shows in 1980, but you weren't going to see him main event a show, but you could see him in the middle of the card here. Slaughter takes him down with the hammerlock. Wrist locks, tries to get submissions out of King. Does not get a submission, but tries anyway. And then again, we kind of see Slaughter cinch up on the guy and get as much as he can from the process, cinches up on him, and ultimately, um, we see Slaughter kind of going in a direction that's aggressive to, I wouldn't say to a fault, but it's there. Um, and Slaughter again managing to do what he can, where he can, in a, takes him over into the Cobra Clutch maneuver and brings him up and gets the Cobra Clutch victory, does Slaughter here. Then we see um, um, the Grand Wizard kind of talking about how Slaughter is under challenged and under respected. That's there kind of to get things going in his general direction towards some form of attempted respect, for lack of a better term, and you know he's here, but Slaughter is under challenged as of yet. That will change in 1981, but again, still a couple more months of him being under challenged to come yet before they really kind of put that out into something. Anyway, so the next bit we have here is a uh, bit of a running gun, as it were, and um, we continue moving forward through the foray into the matches. Next match up is um, a Larry Zbyszko defeating Angel Maivia with a suplex 419. Zbyszko still here, although not here too much longer. I think he's gone by early 1981 at the latest. Zbyszko doing a lot of stalling, a lot of, step through the ropes, try to break the momentum. Also backing off into the corner, trying to do everything he can to get things going in his direction without looking too vulnerable or anything, natured there, nurtured there. Zbyszko eventually does get, as mentioned, vertical suplex, but does a lot more punch kick and stalling, trying to break momentum. Also, will break things like the nature of the inverted, inverted, you know, attempted cheating, and again, Zbyszko, a guy who kind of is unwilling to take any sort of backward steps at this particular juncture. Then we go to the next in the series of matches after Zbyszko's win, which happens to be in this particular run. The let's see here. Rene Goulet against Barry Mikel Cicluna. They go to a 10-minute time limit draw. And as mentioned, Goulet has been tagging with Pat Patterson on and off. Very basic match. 10-minute time limit draw between these two, probably to build to house shows around the loop. I'd say Cicluna with much more brawling tactics and attempts to overpower his adversary. The technical mastery or attempted technical mastery of Goulet does not lead him where he wants to go entirely. 10-minute time limit draw. Super basic match, nothing to write home about, but at the same time, filling time appropriately. Fans are on their feet for simple holds because the matches are treated like they actually count for something. Then we go to the final match of the day, which in this particular timeout happens to be the Hangman with Fred Blassie defeating Rick Stallone with submission. 324 with the Hangman hold. Hangman hold basically an over-the-shoulder backbreaker. Hangman with some body slams, using a bit more power, tries to take his man over the top rope to the outside. Several body slams. Fred Blassie cheering him on from the outside. Military press into the Hangman position, and also using a little extra power. Hangman getting the victory after the hot shot and then the Hangman submission hold. And the Hangman is victorious as we close this particular broadcast. We'll be back with more right after this.